Hey, you right, guys, pretty much is Joey, and today we are talking about the films that I watched in May, which is very few, unfortunately. Only seven, only seven films. But towards the end of May, it was kind of around the time when I was moving house, and then even the first half of this month, I haven't really watched many films. I think I watched like three films or something. So, like I said, I wanted to aim for 10 a month, but the past like 2 3 weeks have been so hectic that I literally have not had time. But yeah, I still watched seven films. Two of those that were ones that I reacted to. So if you're on Patreon, you would have seen the reactions to two of these anyway. And I'm actually trying to look at it. I don't think there's one genuinely fantastic film. I think, and that'd be the one that I recommend. I thought it was great. It kind of has mixed reviews, but I thought it was really good. But we'll get to that one in a second. Sorry, this one is a little bit late. I know I usually try to aim to get these up on the first of every month. But like I just said, moving house, so it's been very busy. I still need to do the Q&A as well, which will be coming out in the next couple of days from when this is uploaded. So keep a look out for the Q&A as well. But yeah, just comment down below with the films that you watched in May or start of June if you want, because I am genuinely curious, and I know some of you comment that anyway. But I don't know. I like reading which films that people are watching, if they have good taste or not. You know what I mean? You know, I say that, and I've reacted to a lot of shit watched a lot of shit this year already. So yeah. First film that I saw was one that I reacted to. Is on the first of the month anyway, so it seems like I reacted to this ages ago, but it was only like a month and a half ago, which I guess is kind of ages ago. But the first time, starring Dylan O'Brien, and I forgot the other actress's name. This was fine. I think it was a good film. A lot of people said it was just like a fun film, and they wanted me to react to it because Dylan O'Brien was in it. Obviously, he was the best thing about it. It's not nowhere near one of my favorite like teenage coming of age films at all. I think the two characters they had chemistry for sure, but I didn't really get on with their relationship too well. I think they were good. I didn't hate their relationship like, oh, they're so awful, they have no chemistry or whatever. It's just for me, I think I've seen a lot better like teenage couples in films like this than those who really didn't stand out to me. Like if I think of like teenage couples in films like this of coming of age films, these would not jump to mind or anything like that. So yeah, I think that didn't really have much going for it. I think like the script and wasn't great, but it did have some fun scenes in there. It's an enjoyable film. It's only an hour and a half, like 90 minutes, if that. Yeah, I think it's like an hour and a half. So you're not wasting too much time if you don't enjoy it. But I think for 90 minutes it was a fun film. It didn't drag out, even though like I said some scenes were a little bit lackluster. It didn't drag out. I gave this one a 6 out of 10. Like I said, enjoyable film, but it's not one that I'm gonna like think back on at the end of the year like, oh, that was one of the best films I've ever seen. So yeah, it was a fine film, but Dylan O'Brien was the best part about it easily. Then I watched The Disaster Artist with James Franco and Dave Franco. I've been wanting to watch this for so long. This is obviously the film about the film of The Room, which I only watched this year actually, like The Room, and it was great. I'd heard a lot of buzz about this film anyway. Like I think when I saw the trailer for it, I was just a bit like, okay, it's just gonna be another like James Franco and Seth Rogen film, like just comedy, which I like those films. I know a lot of people don't, but I kind of get along with those films. But it wasn't. There was a lot more to this. James Franco was fantastic in the film, and Dave Franco as well. But yeah, they were both awesome, played the parts so well. Yeah, and the ending, dude, like the final couple of scenes were brutal. I loved the final. Actually, just the final 15 minutes was amazing. So yeah, it had great comedy moments as well, but I wouldn't say it was like a comedy film. A lot of people class it as that, but I don't know. I didn't go into this film like wanting a comedy, even though it did have comedy elements to it. I just went in watching it because the amount of buzz around it, and I want to see how James Franco kind of pulled off that character anyway, with Tommy Wiseau. So yeah, I really enjoyed that film. I give it a 7.6 out of 10. Yeah, it was great. And then the second film I reacted to was Divergent. A lot of people kind of commented saying that I was just shitting on this film just to shit on it because it's popular to shit. But like, I didn't. I think when I was reacting to the film, I actually said I enjoyed the first hour of this film. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have watching this have probably seen Divergent maybe by this time because it did come out in like 2014. I want to say, I want to say 2014. Yeah, I enjoyed the first hour of the film. I think it was fun. It was a nice, one of those teenage films that was enjoyable. I didn't hate much about it. There was a couple of things like the dialogue that were a bit cringy, but that's kind of be expected. I gave this film a low rating at the end of the day was because after that hour mark, the rest of the film, this is a 2 hour and 20 minute film. After that hour mark, it dragged out. I think the first hour was so much fun, and I really enjoyed it. And then after that, it just went downhill. So I wasn't shitting on the film just to shit on it. I did genuinely did not like the like hour and 20 minutes that were after that, initial hour. But we'll stick with that first hour. Like I said, I do think it was a fun film. Shailene Woodley was fine. Theo James were fine for like teenage films. I think the action was fun, enjoyable. I didn't care much for the story, but I did like the concept of it. And it was just one of those kind of basic post-apocalyptic worlds that we've seen a million times. Even like the Maze Runner, we've seen it a million times. Like I say, I didn't despise the film. The first hour saved it, but like I say, other than that, there wasn't much going for it. So I gave it a 4.5 out of 10. I think if it was as fun and enjoyable as the first hour was, I think this could have been like a high 6, maybe even a 7. I don't know. But unfortunately not. But yeah, Divergent was fine. I don't know if I'll react to the other films, but we'll see. Maybe. Everyone kind of says they're even worse than this one, so I don't know. Wait and see on that one. Then the film that I think this was my favourite film that I watched in May, but Revenge. I'm trying to think of a way to explain this film without spoiling everything that happens, but yeah, this is a brutal film. Like, after the initial 20 minutes, well, even from the first scene, I was like straight into it. I thought it was fantastic. But after this first 20 minutes to 30 minutes, it just gets more and more brutal, and I love it. If you're not into gore and all that stuff, don't do it because there was even a scene in this film that I could not watch. I'm fine with gore, like as you probably know, like bloody moments and all that. I'm fine with it usually, but there was one scene I was just like, oh god, it's like going through me. So yeah, watch it at your own peril. But I thought it was fantastic. It was just non-stop fun throughout, like start to end. Yeah, the main actress was amazing. She was so good. Yeah, I love this film. I think it is my favorite film that I watched in May. I gave this one an 8.7 out of 10. I want to watch it again. It's not too long as well. I think it's an hour 45 it says here. So I would say check it out if you're fine with gore. If not, you probably won't like this film. Then I watched two animated films with Liam. The first one being Batman Ninja. This was fine. I think I went in with very high expectations because everyone was saying this is insane. It's so much fun. It's like one of the best animated films, like besides I don't know Ghibli, that's ever existed. I was like, okay, like I genuinely saw a review like that. It's like one of the best animated films of all time. So obviously I went in with very high expectations, and it was fine. Like it was good. It was enjoyable. I think my problem with it is it could have been so much better. Like me and Liam had a conversation about it after. We were like, that could have been insane. Like the animation was great. You had the villains. You had the world. It was all set in like Batman in like a samurai world in like Japan and stuff. It's like you had everything. The Joker was done so well, but I just think it just went a bit too much. Like they had castles that were flying around with swords, and yeah, it's all fun watching that stuff. But there just came a point where me and Liam just looked at each other and actually laughed at how ridiculous it was. And I know it, like I said, I know it's embracing how ridiculous it is and just going for it. But from the final scene, there was some great like animation and choreography going on, and I was like, why couldn't you have had that for the rest of the film? Like the one-on-one fights was so lackluster. Like they were there, but you had like 10 seconds of watching the fight, and that's why with the final fight, with like the Joker versus Batman, it was like just a 5 minute non-stop like fight, and it was so well done. I just wish they'd done that for the previous fights in the film as well. I think it moved a bit too quick. I think it could have just taken its time with the world. Like I said, if it just took its time, had the fights going on, and didn't try so hard to be like, your cliche anime of having like, oh, we've got robots and like castles flinging themselves around. And I think this could have been like maybe even like a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 kind of thing. I did end up giving it like a 6.2 out of 10. The final fight saved it. And I do think like the Batman and Joker and Harley Quinn, they were all great seeing them all in the film, obviously. And I loved the world of it as well. Catwoman was awesome. It was just there's so much potential there that I was kind of disappointed. And I think, like I say, because I went in with so much expectations of hearing it's one of the best animated films of all time. It's just like no, it's one of the best animated Batman films. You mean? I think that's what maybe you meant. It is enjoyable if you like Batman. I guess check it out. It's not too long of a film, but I think it's good. I think that could have been so much better. Then on the same day, I watched the Anthem of the Heart. Um, I gave this one a 7.2 out of 10, and I'm trying to think of a way to explain this film. It's a very weird one. This is an anime film about a girl who willingly decides never to speak again after like a childhood like thing that goes on in like the first 5 minutes. But then she willingly decides to never speak again. So then she starts a band or joins a band or like a theatre, and that's then her way of expressing her voice. Like I say, trying to explain this film is so difficult, but I really enjoyed it. I think it was a very cute film. It wasn't one of the best I've ever seen or anything. And again, this one had quite a lot of high reviews. Uh, there were elements to this film that I really did like. I liked the side characters were cool. They actually tried with the side characters, which sometimes a lot of anime films don't do much of. They weren't like some of the best I've seen, but at least they tried with them, and they did. I think they did a good job. Uh, and the main character was fine, not the girl, the other main character who's I'd say he and she are kind of the main characters. But yeah, he was decent. I think she was okay. I just didn't think her like choice of never speaking again was very justified from um, the first scene. I know there's more to it than that, but it's just I don't know. I think I couldn't really connect much with the main character, and I don't think the music to say it's like there's a lot of like music and stuff going on. I think there's one song or like track part that I really liked, but other than that, there wasn't much to like the music side of it. But it was an enjoyable film. Like I say, I gave it a 7.2 out of 10. I don't think it's one that I'd watch again at least anytime soon. But if you're into anime, again, I guess check it out. It's an enjoyable one for sure. And then finally, towards the end of the month, I watched Solo, a Star Wars story. I was about to say a Star Wars movie, a Star Wars story, because you know there's going to be a whole thing now, of course. But I'm not too bothered. I know a lot of people are like kind of so like salty that they're overdoing Star Wars, which yes, they are. They are overdoing it, but it's Disney. What do you think was going to happen? And I'm not really one that's like so attached to the original trilogy that I can't bear to see these other films. I enjoyed this film. I think it was fun. It's not one of the best Star Wars films, not even close to like one of the best Star Wars films there is, obviously. I wouldn't say it's the worst though either. I think it was a great film. I think it had fun little heist moments from start to finish, and I do think the character of Lando and the actor who played Han Solo uh, did a good job. I think he did a good job. I don't think it was amazing. I think it's just pretty much like it's good in the film. Donald Glover playing Lando though was the standout, as everyone says. But then like the other side characters like Woody Harrelson, Emilia Clarke, they just didn't really shine or do much interesting. They were just kind of there in the film. Like Emilia Clarke is a great actress and she's beautiful to look at, and Woody Harrelson's a great actor and he's also slightly attractive to look at. Not really, but kind of is. But they just, I don't know, they didn't really add much to the film. Of course, yeah, short in story, but I mean, as like characters, they didn't really add much at all. And the droid in it was awful. Like, the droid was one of the worst, most annoying, no, the worst and most annoying Star Wars character I've seen. She's more annoying than Jar Jar Binks, like, straight up. Like, I could, every time they tried to do, like, a joke with the character, I was just like, stop. It was so annoying. I did not like that droid. But other than that, I think there were like 3 or 4 scenes in this film that were just so entertaining. Like I was just like, yo, this is sick. I'm so into this. So yes, there was a lot of kind of little bit of downtime, and the pacing wasn't always there. But I didn't hate this film. I think a lot of people are trashing it just to trash it because it's like, oh, Star Wars are overdoing it. I don't think because Star Wars are overdoing it is a reason to hate the film. Marvel's overdoing it, and they just brought out the Avengers Infinity War, which was fantastic. So I think a franchise can overdo it if they want. Just overdo it to a point where the films are good, and I think this was at least fine. This was a fine film. If they were bringing out like, say Rogue One was awful, like a 3 out of 10, and this was shit, like a 2 out of 10, 4 out of 10, then yeah, I'd have a problem. Like, okay, now and I know they're still going after money. Obviously, every film in some way is going after money, but they're fine. These films are fine. I say this was it better than The Last Jedi? I think there were parts of The Last Jedi that were better than this. But then there were parts of this that were better than The Last Jedi. I think I had more fun with this because I went in with so low expectations. Like, I thought it was going to be awful. I thought it was going to be so bad. So I think when I came out of it, I was like, that was fine. I actually enjoyed that. Whereas The Last Jedi, I went in with such high expectations and then came out disappointed with that one. So I think in that sense, but I think The Last Jedi is still a better film, if that makes sense. So yeah, I gave this one a 7.1. No, just a 7 out of 10, sorry. Yeah, if you like Star Wars, if you're like so obsessed with the original trilogy and you don't want anything else to like touch it, then you'll hate this film, obviously. And I'm sure plenty of people who are Star Wars fans have seen this anyway. But if you're like me and you're not that bothered about the original trilogy or Star Wars in general, I think Star Wars is fine, then yeah, it's a good film. I enjoyed it. So yeah, they're all the films that I watched. The standout for me is Revenge by far. That was insane. I don't think there's... Oh, The Disaster Artist, I'd recommend that as well. I'd say... So yeah, Revenge and The Disaster Artist are the two that I would recommend from this month. But I watched quite a lot of shit, to be fair. Like, Batman Ninja wasn't shit, but I think it could have been better. The First Time was fine. Divergent was kind of bad. If you like anime, yeah, check out the Anthem of the Heart, but I wouldn't say it's essential. It's a good film. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it's like amazing or anything. And Solo is, like I say, if you like Star Wars, check it out. It's a fun film. I enjoyed it. It's just getting a lot of shit for no reason, I think. But by far, the best was Revenge. I thought that was insane. I actually want to watch that again. And like I say, The Disaster Artist. So, yeah, kind of a little bit lesser films in this month, but like I say, the last week of May was just so hectic in the first 2 weeks of this month. Like I say, I've only watched 3 films this month, so hopefully I can catch on up to when I do the next films that I watched in June. But thanks for watching. Sorry this video was a bit delayed. I'm sure you can understand. And like I say, let me know what films you watched in May down below. And I will see you on the 1st of July, hopefully, unless something goes wrong, for the films that I watched in June. And until then, peace.